Hey everyone, welcome back to Wixfix. I hope you're having a fantastic day. In today's video, we are going to be building out Kovitz website. It's a website that I recently found that I think looks pretty elegant, and it is very simple, but I think it would be really fun to build in Editor X. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, as usual, I've already built the header and the footer, so that way we can just go ahead and get started with the home page. So the first thing that we're going to do on this hero section is we're going to go ahead and set it to 90 VH, which is going to basically make it 90% of the height on the user's device. Now what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and add the video right here, and we're going to stretch it to the background just like this. Now if we go into the behaviors, we want to make sure it automatically plays. We don't want it to pause, and we want to make sure it loops. And we also want to make sure that sound is turned off because it is just going to be the background video. Now with the video, we also want to make sure that the section background, we'll just make this kind of a black color, just like this. The next thing we want to do is we want to add a kind of cool graphic over the top of it. So we're going to go ahead and grab this and we're going to stretch it just like that. Now, because we stretched it, it automatically put it behind the video. So we're just going to bring it to the front just like that. And then we can lower the image opacity, something like this. I think that looks really good. And with this, we can also apply a parallax scroll behavior. And if we go to the focal point, we'll go ahead and bring it down to the bottom, so the parallax isn't as strong. Okay, the next thing we need to do is go ahead and add a title onto the page. Now with this title, of course, we want to make sure it's heading 1. We also want to make sure it is set to white. And I'll go ahead and paste in the text from the website, and we'll make sure it's centered, just like that. Okay, with the text selected, we're going to go ahead and make sure it's centered on the section. And then the next thing we need to do is add another title right above it. This title is going to be a paragraph. We'll go ahead and up the font size to 22. Make sure it's centered, and we'll also make this white. And I'll go ahead and copy in the text from the website, and we'll just paste it in. Perfect. So now let's go ahead and position these two together, something like this. Make sure it's centered. We'll grab both of these elements and stack them. And then we'll make sure they are both centered in the section, just like that. Okay, the next thing I would like to do is with this hero section, or header section, we want to put the header on top of the hero. So what we're going to do is come over to layout with the header selected. Set the position type to pinned, and we're going to overlap the next section, just like that. So now when we press preview, here is what we will see. And that looks really, really good. As you can see, the kind of cool graphic that we have has a slight parallax on it, and I think that looks really good. Next, let's go ahead and add a new section. We'll make this one blank. And this one is literally just going to be this graphic right here. So let's go ahead and add that graphic. So we'll just come over to our media. We'll select this pattern and we'll apply it to our website just like that. We're going to go ahead and shrink it up because this is an SGV file. So we're going to shrink it up just to where we see the pattern. And then we're going to set this to be 100%. We're going to make sure it's centered and at the top. The next thing we want to do is with the section selected, we'll go ahead and set the height to none. So now we should have something that looks like this, and that looks really good. Next section that we have is going to be the About Us section. So let's go ahead and add a new section. With this section, we just want to kind of have something similar to this. So I'm just going to grab this stack right here. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to bring it down here, and I'm going to paste it in. We'll go ahead and make sure it's centered, just like before. However, now we need to make sure that the text is kind of our dark blue. and we'll go ahead and paste in the text from the website. Now this text is quite big, so what we're going to do is switch the heading 1 to heading 4. Let's just go ahead and set it to 60. And we'll also go ahead and switch it to a thinner font, just like that. Next, with the stack selected, let's go ahead and add like 120 pixels of margin on the top and the bottom. Then we'll grab the section and we will remove the height, just like that. So the next section that we're going to have under the About Us little title is going to be the company values, investing values, and service values. So there are 3 values in the company. And the way we are going to build this out, we're going to create a new section. Let's go ahead and put a container here inside of the section. We'll make this section like 60%. Make sure it's centered. We'll send it to the top. We'll go ahead and give us like 400 pixels of spacing here. And let's also go ahead and remove the background color, just like that. And we'll apply a grid. We'll do 2 by 1. In the grid settings, let's go ahead and set this one over here on the left. Let's go ahead and set the left column to maybe 0.6. And we'll also give us a gap of 150 pixels. And maybe this is too small, so maybe we'll do 0.8, something like that. Perfect. So over here in the left column, let's go ahead and attach an image. So we'll go to our images. We'll go ahead and grab this one. Make sure it's here in the left-hand side. Then over here on the right, what we're going to have is some text. So let's go ahead and grab some. Go ahead and grab this paragraph text. We'll change the text and we'll send it to the top left for now. Then underneath that, let's go ahead and grab another paragraph text. We'll send this one to the left. Make it 100%. We'll change out the text from their website and we'll change the font to something like this. And maybe we can bump this up to maybe 22, just like that. And we'll also do the same thing for this text right here. Then we'll grab both of these elements, press stack, and we'll make sure it's centered here in the container. And actually the last thing I want to do here is we'll go ahead and make sure that these texts are blue, or this dark blue. It's almost black, so it might be hard to see on your screen or through the video, but these are going to be a darker blue. And the next thing I want to do is go ahead and, with this stack selected, we'll come down to margin and we'll give ourselves 100 pixel of margin on the top and bottom. Then we'll grab this container, go into the advanced settings, and we'll set the row height to minimum content, just like this. Then with the container selected, let's go ahead and set a bottom margin of 100 pixels. Then we'll grab the section and we'll just go ahead and remove the height. So now what I want to do with this section selected is we're going to copy it 2 times, just like this. And now we can go ahead and change out the images and the text. So then if we look at the website, there's only one section left here on the page, and it's going to be a little About Us section and this little Contact Us. So it's a little call to action, so you can learn more about the company or you can contact them for your financial needs. So the background is going to have that nice little graphic again. Then we're going to have basically a grid with 2 containers inside of it. So let's go ahead and build that out. We'll add a new section, just like this. For now, let's go ahead and give us 600 pixels to work with. We won't need that in the very end, but let's go ahead and do it for now. Then let's go ahead and grab out this design. We'll go ahead and stretch it. And just like before, we'll set the scroll behavior to parallax. And in the design settings, we'll go ahead and lower the opacity to like 20%, maybe even 10%. Perfect. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to add a container. Once again, we'll remove the background color. We'll set the width to 60%. And for now, let's go ahead and give us like 320 pixels for the height. And we'll go ahead and center this up inside the section. Then let's go ahead and apply a grid. So we'll do 2 by 1. We'll change the grid layout. Let's start by giving us a 150 pixel gap. Then let's go ahead and give us like 320 pixels. Then we'll set this to viewport width. Then we'll do the same exact thing over here. We'll set this one to 16.5 VW to match this one right here. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to keep this column and row a complete square, which is what we want. So then over here in the left column, let's go ahead and add a container. We'll stretch it. We'll go ahead and change the color. Let's just choose white for now. And if we look at it, we're going to notice it has kind of a border. So let's go ahead and come over to border. We're going to set it to 1 pixel. And we'll set it to this light green. So now we have something that looks like this. Perfect. And inside we have learn more and about us. So let's go ahead and add that text real quick. Okay, and then we need to add kind of this circle right here with the little arrow inside. So let's go ahead and let's go over to add decorative, and let's just go ahead and choose a circle. So we'll choose this one right here. We'll go ahead and set the color to this beige color. Make the size about 65 pixels. So let's actually just set this to fixed sizing. And we'll set it to 65. Make sure it's centered. Then we'll come over to add. Let's go to more basic shapes. And let's just type an arrow. And let's just choose something like this. We'll go ahead and make the color white. Perfect. Okay. And the next thing we want to do is let's go ahead and add another container in here. Just like this. Let's go ahead and set the height to 100, or the width to 100%. And we'll set the height to 100% as well. And we'll remove the minimum height. Then we'll just make sure it's centered in here. And then we'll go ahead and change the color to like this bluish gray, just like this. And then inside the layers panel, let's go ahead and bring that below everything that's in there, just like this. Then with the container selected itself, we can come over to the interactions. We'll add a trigger and we'll give it a hover. And we want this to be a custom one. So we'll call this one About Box, and we'll start designing. So now we want to make sure that we are on the initial state for this. We'll go ahead and grab this container right here, and we want to translate it like 110%. So now it's going to be down below. Then what we want to do is come over to the hover state, and we want it to be right here, just like that. But now let's go ahead and grab this text. We'll go ahead and make this text white. We'll do the same thing for the About Us text right here. Go ahead and set this to white. Then we'll go ahead and grab the circle right here And unfortunately, I was mistaken. We can't change the color of this vector art right here. So what we need to do now is actually just go ahead and delete this basic shape. What we're going to do now is just go ahead and pull out this container right here. We're going to set the same sizing. So we're going to do 65, 65, and we'll remove the minimum height. Then what we want to do is go ahead and change the color. Then we'll go to contour, or for the corners, and we'll go ahead and set this to like 1000 to make it a circle. Then we'll stick it right here over the arrow. Then with the arrow selected, we'll go ahead and attach it to this container. But now let's go ahead and grab the container again. Come back over to our hover interactions. And let's go over to the about right here. Then we'll grab this container and we'll change the color. So we'll do something like dark, just like this. And we'll go ahead and press done. So now what we need to do is, with this container selected, we'll come over to the inspector panel. We'll say overflow content. We'll say show. We'll change it from show to hide. Just like that. So now we should have something that looks like this, which I messed up a little bit. This container should not be inside of the other container. So let's just go ahead and press Command X to cut it. Then we'll grab the overall container and we'll press paste, just like that. And then we'll just bring it down just a little bit. Okay, now if I preview, here is what we should see. And I don't know why the About Us text went left align on hover. If I look at the hover settings, it's not set to that. So I think it is just a little bit of a bug. Now I'm not entirely sure why this text went left align. As you can see here, the setting is set to centered. So I'm not sure why there is this bug right now. Let's just pretend it is working correctly. So the next thing we need to do is going to be this one right here. As you can see, the only difference with this one is the image gets a little bit bigger. So let's go ahead and build this one out. Once again, we're going to add a container over here. We're going to stretch it. Let's go ahead and remove the background color. Then what we want to do is go ahead and go into our media. We'll grab this picture right here. Let's bring down the size so that we can fit it inside this container. Just like that, and we'll go ahead and press stretch. Now with the focal point selected, let's go ahead and move it over here to the side a little bit. Then what we want to do is we'll go ahead and add another image, which will be this one right here. We'll go ahead and stretch it. Now because we stretched that one image first, it's going to be sent to the back. So let's go ahead and just flip it a little bit. Let's go ahead and change the order of it. Then let's come over to add. And we want to add this diamond pattern again. Now once again, we'll bring up the height just like that. We'll make sure that we are attaching it inside of this container. Then we'll go ahead and set it to 100%. We'll align it to the bottom left, just like that. And the last thing we'll need to do here is add the text. So let's go ahead and just add a couple text elements. So we'll just go ahead and do a paragraph. We'll make it white. And we'll change the text to contact us. Okay, next let's go ahead and grab out a title. We'll make this white as well. And we'll change this to, let's discuss your financial future. Perfect. So now let's go ahead and maybe let's bump up the size of this a little bit to maybe like 40. Bring it out just a little bit. We'll put it right underneath the contact us. We'll grab both, we'll stack them, and we'll just position it right about here. Perfect. So now let's go ahead and grab the container. Let's go ahead and add a trigger. hover, and we want to apply a custom effect. Call this one contact box, and we'll say start designing. So now we want to make sure that we are on the hover state. Then in the layers panel, let's go ahead and grab the background image, and we'll set this scale to 105, 105. Maybe let's do 110, something like that. Perfect. And we'll go ahead and press done. But now with the container selected, let's go back over to our inspector panel. We'll set the overflow content from show to hide. And here is what we should see now, just like that. And without further ado, this is the website built here in Editor X. But that basically wraps it up for the video today. If you all enjoyed, please consider giving this video a like and consider subscribing for more Wix and Editor X content coming out really soon. Thank you all again, and I'll see you all in the next one.